I have so much respect for my competitors, but when people compare me to the other competitors, it really doesn't even faze me because I know I'm already going to win.
Athletes want to compete at the CrossFit Games because it is the pinnacle of their sport. If you just get to that point, you are one of the 40 fittest people on the planet.
I don't enter a competition thinking that I'm going to lose. Going into the CrossFit Games, my sole purpose there was to win.
Coming into the 2022 season, Tia Toomey has a chance to stand alone in history, to be the first and only athlete to win 6 consecutive CrossFit Games titles.
The question was like, how is she going to do it? And what's that going to look like? I don't think it's going to look like years in the past where it's just win, 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 win.
Toomey's back to 0.
Oh, no.
And O'Brien is across.
I do not care how hard I go. I'm just going for it.
A horse will race so fast that its heart explodes. That's Mal.
For the first time in 5 years, we are going to get to see Ricky Garrard at the CrossFit Games. The last time we saw him was 2017. He finished 3rd, and then he tested positive for PEDs.
Seeing Ricky wearing the white leaders jersey, I think forced a lot of people to confront a question that maybe we hadn't really considered about what our feelings would be around the possibility of not only Ricky coming back, but winning.
He dropped that. I was like, you're gone.
Yeah. Everyone's just roaring for someone to see Ricky.
Roman Krennikov went into destruction mode. He just looked like a machine out there.
I know you're hurt. Everybody's hurt, and you're tougher than everybody.
You just get so hyped up, and you're like, I'm ready to attack this.
This is going to be one of the most epic Saturday nights we've ever had.
We've seen this before between Tia Toomey and Laura Horvath. He's got to keep his balance. He's got to keep his balance. Garrard will do it, and Medeiros will do it. Here we go.
Bam, we're live. Hey, the only reason why they won't ding us, someone wrote, hey, the one time HQ won't ding us. The only reason why they won't ding us is because I pulled it off of Instagram. So that's it. That's it. The director, Mariah Moore, should be here any minute. She's having some minor technical issues. Let me see. Make sure I gave her the right link. Make sure it's not my fault. That's the cool thing. When people have technical issues, it doesn't even matter. It's our show. It's Wayne's show. It's Brittany Cassidy's show. It's Miss Pugface's show. It's Fergie's show. It's Stephen Flores' show. It's Philip Kelly's show. It's Jake Chapman's show. It's just our show. It's Jay Hartle's show, who loves the music. Hey, did yesterday's show ever get put back up? I know that they pulled it down because of all the copyright claims. It was the most copyright claims we've ever gotten in a single show. It's kind of funny. Your glasses look good. Oh, thank you. They're old. They're old. I just saw them on the counter, and I'm like, you know what? I'll wear these today. Now you're making me have technical issues. Why? Did you go over and see if yesterday's show is up? Mariah Moore is coming on the show. I was looking at her Instagram this morning, and I saw this picture. Bam. And then I scrolled down and I realized I took this picture. Kind of cool. That's her interviewing Greg Glassman. It looks like it's downstairs at HQ in Santa Cruz. No matter what the business looks like or who is at the helm, my deep-seated love for CrossFit and gratitude to the man who created it will spring eternal. Well, that's cool. Little Greg Glassman love. She posted this in May of 2022. Maybe everyone should post one of those. Can you imagine being a CrossFit Games athlete? Just a completely new sport. You'd be out there fucking mowing lawns. You'd be some fucking ding-dong trapped in a medical lab somewhere, 50 pounds overweight, but because of Greg, you have a fucking totally different career. But you're out. I'm out. God damn. I shouldn't have brought that up. It's just me. It's completely unreal. I guess people don't sit around and thank Thomas Edison for the light bulb. Is that who did it, or Benjamin Franklin, or whoever created that? So, but this is in your lifetime. This dude's still alive, especially for you idiots who mischaracterize him. Oh no, shoot. I'm getting wound up. I feel it. I need to chill. Tranquilo, Sevito. I need to read something out of this, out of my Tao Te Ching here. Number 64 from the Tao Te Ching. Fame or integrity, which is more important? Money or happiness, which is more valuable? Success or failure, which is more destructive? If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never truly be fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in what things you are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Lao Tzu. Oh, that's nice. I like that. That's a good way. Hi, Mariah. What's up?
I was having technical difficulties.
You did the same thing I did today.
You had issues too?
No, I washed my hair.
I did that last night.
Yeah, I could tell.
It's the first time since Sunday.
I haven't washed my hair in over a year. I just saw the bottle of shampoo on the ground. I was like, you know what? Today's the day.
How do you keep it clean then? You just don't take it down from the man bun?
No. It has to come down. I just rinse it out with water. I like it because then it gets really thick like a helmet.
I haven't used body wash in years. I don't wash my body.
Yeah, you know what? I was surprised how many people don't wash their body. Hiller told me Andrew Hiller doesn't wash his body either. No soap.
Yeah, no soap.
Yeah. I got a hairy butt, so I have to use soap. I feel like I have to use soap. I have to lather down there.
Stuff gets caught if you don't.
Don't be crass. Don't be crass, Mariah. I listened to the PR All Day podcast yesterday with Nicole. You've never talked about her resigning and coming back. Like a different show. But thank you, Eaton Beaver. Thank you. What a trippy name. Can you imagine naming your kid Eaton Beaver?
You think that's actually their name?
No. I was just seeing if you are like I do. Holy cow, dude. Another movie. Congratulations.
I know. Thank you.
No one has any idea how much work that is unless they've put together a movie, you know? Like,
yeah.
Together a movie, you can't even fathom it.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I'm like, I'm okay with criticism, but I'm like, I respect your opinion a bit more if you know what it takes to do it, you know?
What people don't realize is that every second 24 pictures go by or 30 pictures go by or 60 pictures go by or 120 pictures go by. And so for you as not only the director or the editor, every one of those pictures matters to you. It's not for us, we're just watching them go by and make movement. But for you, you're looking at every picture and be like, should I cut on this one? Or should I go 2 pictures over and cut on this one? Or should I go 3 pictures? Should I start the dissolve at this picture? Or should I start the dissolve? And you're clicking over 1 picture at a time. Or you're bringing that razor blade down 1 picture at a time. And people, like, no one has any fucking clue. Like, hey, this isn't just like some random, like, hey, I cut it here. And I'm like, within a second, it's no big deal.
Right. Well, it's that and the mountain of footage you capture after the games too, or you have to go through after the games.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely nuts. You know what? This was the first games doc I've probably watched. I definitely didn't watch the previous year, last year.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely loved it. Congratulations. I absolutely loved it. You know what's kind of interesting? The stuff that I liked the least in it was the CrossFit stuff. You know, like at the intro and end, the kind of like, hey, this all takes place in, there's kind of like, hey, this is the community. And then at the end, then there's the whole meat and potatoes of the movie, the competition.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it closes with like, and don't forget, like, this happens in this community. But I not that I didn't like it, but the meat and potatoes were crazy. Good job. I'm not a Tia Toomey fan. I'm not a hater at all. I just don't know her at all. You know what I mean? And I walked away from that movie being like, holy shit, I love her.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. She's a cool girl.
And you did Ricky right too.
I mean, we never.
Not that. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, you probably remember when we went out and shot with him in 2017. I think we were all a bit devastated when we found out that he had popped because we all loved him. You were back. You did behind the scenes in 2017. It was 2018 that you didn't do them, right?
Correct.
So you were back there with him too, weren't you?
Yeah. I
mean, nobody really wanted to do him dirty.
No.
I remember we were slated to go out and shoot with him in Australia, Heber and I. And like 2 days before we went out, Justin came into our office and he was like, "Hey, I don't think you guys want to go on that trip anymore to see Ricky." And we were like, "Why?" No, like his A sample just tested positive. Like we don't know for sure because his B samples right now is getting pulled to get tested as well. And we were like, well, we still have to go. I mean, if he
Oh, they don't know
sample
filmmakers,
fails.
do you? You guys were like, oh, we definitely are going now.
That was like ill intention though. Not with ill intention, but we were like, we have to go. This is part of the story if he does test positive. And so we went and like we got to know him a little bit at the games. But then when we were there, Heber and I were just like, holy shit. We were just like praying his sample was negative because
you liked him.
Because we loved him so much. And so when we got JB emailed us like a few hours, no, maybe even like we were sitting in the car about to go do his interview, his master interview. And it was the last thing we were doing on the shoot. And we got the email saying that his B sample had also tested positive. And at that point, like Ricky knew that his A sample had popped or tested positive, but he didn't know yet that the B sample. And we it's not something we had talked about with him, and they didn't know that we knew. And then we found out that his B sample tested positive, and then we had to get out of the car and go do his interview with him. And we were gutted. We were devastated. We were not stoked when we heard that.
It's crazy. Did any part of you feel dirty being there? It's kind of weird being a filmmaker, right? Like you're there to capture it, but you also feel a little guilty. Like it's like going to film at a funeral.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like that. I mean, definitely in that situation, it was pretty uncomfortable. But even when you're at the games, there's situations where you're pushing a camera into their face during a really intimate or emotional moment. And you feel like you want to crawl out of your own skin because it feels inappropriate for you to be there, but you have to do your job and you have to document.
And in hindsight, you're never. That's the thing. Also, too early, you realize in hindsight, you're always like, okay, I'm glad I have this. If I don't want to show it now, that's fine. But at least I have it. You're never like. I've never gone home and been like, oh shit, I wish I wouldn't have filmed this.
Right.
90% of the time, like, God, I'm so happy I sacked it up and wasn't a little bitch and filmed this.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to do it. And then, and not to say you don't get, I mean, you get a little calloused. It gets easier and easier. That's a terrible thing, but you're better at your job for it.
What year did you start working for CrossFit?
2013, I think end of 2013.
And was that the first time? So I know a lot of people start off as contractors before they became employees. Were you a contractor first?
Mm-hmm.
And how long were you?
A year. Yeah, a year.
And then who hired you? Tyson hired you?
No. Charlie and Joe.
Okay.
And Joe
Oh, you started. Okay. I think that's now my memory's starting to come back. I remember you started on the game side of the house.
Yeah, I was a PA. I was like literally wrapping cables for the update show. Like pinning mics on people and stuff.
And you had never held a camera?
No, I had. It was something that I wanted to do. So when my hometown, Lompoc, California, I started going to the local affiliate when it opened in 2012. I was about to graduate high school. And I had always wanted to pursue film and photography. It was something that I had aspired to do since I was like 13 years old. And so I just started creating content for the affiliate. And then Torrin Simpson's brother went to the gym, introduced me to Torrin when Torrin was visiting, because at the time Torrin was an employee of CrossFit. And then I started sending my stuff to Torrin for advice. And then he was like, hey, there's openings for like to be a production assistant for the update show. It's like literally the bottom of the totem pole, but I'll put your name in with the powers that be if that's something you're interested in. So I sent in my resume, lied on my resume about what I was capable of doing, and I was like, oh, I can just learn really quick, right?
Of course.
And then I went up and interviewed with Charlie, and they hired me. So I quit my college classes and my job at Starbucks and went to work for CrossFit.
I can't think of three better people to work with, Torrin, Charlie, and Joe.
Yeah. I mean,
You're
they're
pretty
pretty
stoked.
amazing.
Those are great fucking people. Those are great
Oh,
human
yeah.
beings. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's cool because Charlie was like, hey, I would always ask to do work for you and Tyson because that was ultimately what I wanted to do.
That's what
But
I
Charlie,
remember. I remember you wanting
yeah,
to like slowly slither over to the
that's a good way of
other
putting
side
it.
of the house.
Slither.
Yeah.
I was definitely scheming, that's for sure. No, but Charlie was always open to me taking on work. Joe always held me to a really high standard, which made me want to be better. And then Torrin was always so good about just taking the time to teach me things. So I had a lot of really good people in my corner.
It's crazy how many people came up there, right? I mean, you just think Joe Novello must be so proud of people like you and Charlie.
Probably. I mean, I would hope
just
so.
murdering, right? Yeah.
I would hope so.
Hey, there was a for the by the way, Mariah said she's out of Lompoc, California. That's for those people who don't know. That's probably like I don't know, 120 miles north of Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, it's like 2 hours.
Okay, and then I think that there was a film made out of your gym of a guy who was running with a kettlebell.
Yeah, I made that. That was the first thing I pitched it to Tyson.
Incredible.
I can't watch it now,
that was fucking incredible. That was amazing.
Oh, thanks. I can't watch it anymore. It's like, oof.
Oh, that was amazing. How is that? So the guy was running with the kettlebell. He turned a corner and his back went out and he was basically paralyzed, right?
Yep. And then I think he had like a 2-year goal. He was paralyzed from the waist down. He had a 2-year goal of being able to do the open again. And he was able to, and he rehabbed through CrossFit and was able to do the open.
Allegra R, watch Tyson interview with Chase on the CrossFit Games podcast. This one looks sick. So many storylines. Yeah. It is good, Allegra. You're going to really like it. It moves very, 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 very fast. It is awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Every time I'm able to get a doc under 2 hours long, which is always the goal, I think of the time do you remember this? I think it was with Redeemed and the Dominant. I think the movie like came in at like 2 hours and 15, and like Keeper and Mars and I sat back and we're like, yeah, we're done. And then you came back like right before Christmas break and you're like, hey, you guys need to shave off 30 minutes.
I do remember fighting with you guys a few times. That's for sure. I don't remember the exact details.
Every time I get it under like the 2 hour mark, I'm like, yes, Sevan, he couldn't say shit right now. I fucking did it. I got it under.
I've told this story on here before, and I'm open to the story being hyperbole, but you tell me if it's true. I remember one time we were working out downstairs, and there were a bunch of us working out, and I was by the bay doors. I may have even slithered outside, like to hide. And I was doing overhead squats, and I think the overhead squats were supposed to be 135, and I was using 95 pounds. Does this story sound familiar to you?
No, not yet. Keep going.
And I hear this voice from across the gym say something like, use 135, you little bitch.
That was me?
And I'm like, holy fuck. I'm a 40-year-old man. I mean, I absolutely loved it. I think that's when I first started adoring you. I was like, wow, I just, does that sound familiar to you, that story?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a bully sometimes.
In the gym, I was like, holy shit, a fucking 25-year-old girl just called me a bitch from across the gym. You may be one of the only people who worked there who is shorter than me, who's smaller than me. How tall are you? I should ask how tall you are before I say you're shorter than me. How tall are you?
Like 5'4" in the morning.
Okay, good.
By the evening and things start to compress, I'm probably like 5'3".
Right.
I might actually be 5'3", and I've just lied to myself.
Right. That can happen. And
Were
then
you 5'8"?
And then right, yes. And then so you worked there. You started over in the game side. You came over to the other side of the house, and at that point, your boss was Tyson, and you guys started eventually dating, and now you guys are married and have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
It's controversial, isn't it?
I don't know. Who the fuck else are you supposed to date?
That's what it was like at CrossFit. We were all dating each other.
Yeah, you gotta date someone. This picture I'm about to show is just incredible.
Yep. That's what
is that with the twins, or is that with the most recent one?
Oh yeah. No, that's with the twins. Look at how big I am. That's what
I know. Twins. That's surreal.
I got huge.
Did Tyson take that?
Yes.
And what documentary are you editing here?
don't think I was working on a documentary at that point. That was in 2019. So I was just working on like little things here and there for CrossFit.
When you get pregnant, did you have morning sickness, Mariah?
Oh yeah.
And did you just keep working through it?
Mm-hmm. It was really, really severe in the early mornings for me with the twins.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much, I would eat breakfast. I would eat a huge breakfast because I knew I was going to throw it up no matter what. So I was like, if I just eat a really big breakfast, maybe I'll be able to like retain some of the nutrients and maybe I won't throw everything up. But it was pretty much a given that I would lose my breakfast. But then by like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, I'd feel okay. And then I'd be able to eat and work out.
Yeah. Great. And then you just kept working. You didn't.
Oh,
take,
yeah.
You didn't take any time off. You just kept and when you would go on shoots also?
No, I wasn't going on shoots. It was so in 2019 when The Last of Us got let go at CrossFit, it was like we were working on remember the Hobart psych wall stuff that we did with the Phantom? Yeah, so that stuff still had to be done. And so Michael Dalton and I had been working on that. And so it like even though we were both let go, we had all of this content that we were sitting on, and they were like, well, we still need it to be made. So we got contracted, and that lasted for like a really long time.
And so other people would shoot it, and then you'd get the footage and you'd edit.
No, we just had all the footage still.
Oh.
We spent like a few days just shooting.
Right.
With Hobart and I forget.
Was it Julie?
Name. No, it was the gymnast.
Oh.
I can't remember her name.
I was going to say Michael Fronte, but it's not Michael Fronte.
No.
That's the musician. God, what was that guy's name? That Olympian.
Chad Vaughn? No, that's the weightlifter, right?
Yeah.
The Olympian. Oh, like the Power Monkey guy?
No, different Olympian. Anyway. Okay. And then this most recent movie, why are you calling it retroactive? What's that mean?
It was it's a bit of a like one of the things for that year was like going back so that you can move forward in the sense of like, hey, get back to the basics, like that quote from Greg about like once you've mastered something, go back and pay closer attention.
So it was kind of a play off of Adrian Bosman doing the programming because he was digging through the old journals and stuff in that regards.
Mm-hmm.
And who named the movie?
And that was a Boz suggestion.
Really? For the name of the movie, and you took it?
Yeah, I mean, we reached the titles are really hard, I feel like.
Yeah, me too.
So we reached out to a handful of people and we were like, hey, if you were going to name it this year's, like if you could summarize this year's games in like a couple of words, what would it be? And so we had like a whole list of things and like we had our own ideas too. And that's what Boz had suggested. And we're like, we like that. We like the sound of it.
You know who else? He looked great in the movie. He came across great in the movie. Matt Fraser came across great in the movie. It was interesting to see that side of Matt. I mean, if the goal was to show Matt stressed out, you really showed him stressed out. He looked like he got 10 years older in that movie. He looked stressed.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional. I think he was just like that back there.
And then that closing shot with him and O'Keefe, like basically crying with their cheeks pressed up against each other, and then Tommy and Sean did an incredible job narrating.
Yeah, they're great.
I mean, crazy, incredible. How is that? Do you go in there and you're like, okay, guys, I'm doing this scene. Talk to me about this, and then they just improv that shit?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, you remember how it goes. It's kind of like we have like a basic list of questions that we want to ask, like storylines or whatever, and then we would start going just event by event. Walk me through what happened in this event. Oh, okay, then there's this moment, or there's something they say something that I'm like that we were like, oh, well, expand on that. That's interesting. Things like that. But it's pretty organic how it goes. Usually the only
it's
thing
incredible.
That's set, yeah, that's great. And then it's just, I don't know. I've had a couple people ask like, how do you come up with the questions? And it's just like, I don't know. They kind of just come to you when you're sitting there and you're listening to people talk.
Are you, when you interview, let's say that Tommy's painting a scene, when you interview him for that, is the edit already done? Or by edit, I mean the rough edit. Is there like, is it laid down in the timeline? And then you're like, okay, I need Tommy to talk over this. I need Sean to talk over this. I need Adrian to talk over this. And then I'll chop up all their sound bites to give the the words for the pictures? Or do you not even have the pictures laid down yet, but you just know what they're going to be?
I think every single interview except for the Boz interview and the Mal O'Brien interview were all shot the day after the games.
Holy crap. So you don't even, so you're carpet bombing. You're like, I got to get them to talk about everything.
Yeah,
so when I go back, I can paint any picture I want.
Yeah, most of the interviews are minimum like an hour and a half.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so this year, Monday after the games, we had 3 rooms dedicated to interviews, and we just had people rotating through them from like 7 a.m. to like 9 p.m. the Monday after the games.
You're not even doing all the interviews? You're having to...
No. This
Oh
was the
my
first year that we
God.
did that. This was the first year that we did that because we wanted to try to get as many people done as possible at the games while people were all in one space than trying to do the normal thing, which is do both, like travel to people. We wanted to try and knock out as many. So I think we had, because we kind of partner up with Hamilton Road Production, because they were doing Miles to Madison at the time, and so we were working closely with them to help make sure that they got what they needed. We collaborate really well with them, and so Kathy Eller had she was conducting one interview room that was dedicated to the Miles to Madison series, but they also had characters that we needed, so I would just give her questions that I also wanted asked, and then I think we had Torin in the other interview room, and then I sat in the one that was like dedicated to Doc.
All set up the same backdrop?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's crazy. For people who don't know, the reason why that's crazy is at least if Mariah's doing all the interviews, she can hear all of it firsthand and start putting it together in her brain. And then she can also pivot off of questions, and she can start like basically like, okay, if Sean said this, then I definitely want to ask Tommy this. And then I definitely want to ask Adrian this. And if you have 3 different people doing it on because you have compressed time, all of those abilities go out the door. Man, that's crazy amount of pressure.
Yeah, but it's also like, we also made sure the right people were interviewing.
Right.
Because it was like, I've worked with Torin for 10 years.
Right.
So it's like, I already know his style. I already know how he's going to interview. And I trust that he's going to get everything that I would want or need.
Do you have an idea of how many hours of footage you had in totality?
No, it's crazy. I mean, size wise, I think it was around 30 plus terabytes.
That's crazy.
Maybe closer to 50. I think it was 30 when we were packing up Sunday night. So after all the interviews, it was probably closer to 50 terabytes.
Hey, do you have what do you have 100 terabyte drive at your house that you work off of? Do you have anything massive you work on? You do.
I have 3 of them. Yeah,
that sounds about right. Are they redundant or they're all separate?
A couple of them are, no, they're all separate because they house the documentaries. And so I have one copy, and then CrossFit has the other copy of all the footage. So I don't have to store redundants.
Do you ever wonder how you're going to get rid of all that stuff? Like, I have boxes and boxes of hard drives, even just shit that's in 1080, 720.
Well, it's kind of scary though, because like I don't want to get rid of it because I don't. This sounds terrible. I don't trust that they're not going to lose the footage.
Oh, of course.
So I'm like, I'm just going to keep housing this stuff, and I don't know, like maybe someday they might ask me for it.
Like these, I have boxes full of these.
Dude, me too. Stuff from
just
like
boxes.
Years ago. Oh yeah, I would love to know what's on that. You probably have all the Greg shit, huh?
Yeah, all of it. Yep. What's interesting is that you say that you shot. So I always brag that I have about 100 terabytes of footage at my house, like just and I have redundant 3 times. I have 3 100 terabyte drives, and they're all full. But now you're shooting in 4K.
Oh yeah, right? And not just that, but Red Raw.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the movie?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think in a perfect world, though, I would have gotten a lot more pre-production time. Just the way things have shook out the past few documentaries. I was asked to come on and do it like literally like 3 weeks before the games, both times. And so I think I would have liked to have done a lot more with it.
When you say short notice, how short is short?
Like 3 weeks.
Yeah, fuck.
before the games.
Wow.
So at that point, you're not planning stories. You're jumping onto every single rental gear site and crossing your fingers you can get all the gear that you need and reaching out to people and hoping that they're not booked up.
And I'm guessing super limited budget. You're not going to all four corners of the earth doing home shoots.
No, like skeleton budget. Like it's crazy.
Yesterday I did a show and I'm really tripping, and feel free to push back anywhere you want if I step on any taboo subjects. Obviously you're not obligated to answer anything. And I view you as a friend, so I don't want to put you in hot water. But I've seen very limited production coming out of CrossFit HQ in terms of media, and very, very limited. And the stuff that I am seeing, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I've gone into detail about that. Now we have what's coming out as the biggest, most high-profile potential piece of content that CrossFit can ever put out every year, outside of if they got the ESPN contract. And I know you know this, but I'm painting it for the people at home. And the reason why is because if they would have, like if I would have worked there and you were making that doc, we would have started pumping it. And you and Heber and Mars and Ian were great. I wouldn't even have to ask you guys. You guys would be like, 30 days before the movie starts, play this. 29 days, play this. 28 days, play this. And you guys would start hammering, right? You would start fighting with the publishing team. This needs to be here. And we would start trying to place it. And you would build this hype train. And then, I gave myself goosebumps. That's crazy. I don't do that. And
those are good days back then.
You guys would build this hype train, and then Leaf would publish it. And then when it went live on iTunes, it would stay as the #1 iTunes documentary for months sometimes, or it would be in that top 30 fucking for a year. It seemed like just forever. And I always thought, holy shit, no one has any idea how much free publicity this is getting CrossFit. It's sitting there on Netflix. It's sitting there on iTunes. It's sitting there on YouTube. It's sitting everywhere, just in that #1 documentary, #1, like it would be fighting with Marvel movies for the #1 spot.
Yeah,
it beat the Academy Award-winning film that year that was about the pretty brunette lady with the big nose who died. Who's that famous singer? I can't remember, but she died of a drug overdose, and her documentary won the Academy Award, and she couldn't get the #1
Amy
spot.
Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse, yeah.
Yeah,
I felt bad. I'm like, fuck, we keep pushing the dead lady can't get #1 spot because Mariah, Heber, Mars, and Ian are fucking pushed her out. And I would not even know if this movie. I think maybe the only reason why I know this movie's coming out is I think it was either a few months ago, and I don't talk to you and Tyson very often, but I just happened to be texting with one of you, and it came up like I said, maybe what are you working on? And then I'm watching the buildup, and I see fucking nothing. And I'm thinking they have limited budget. They obviously fired Justin because they have serious financial issues, or else they wouldn't have fired him, right? If he was doing a good job financially, he'd still be here. And they didn't even have enough money to film events 1 and 3. And if I'm going to just be completely crass here, it looks like the same way someone hates Chase Ingram, it looks like someone hates you. It looks like someone is sabotaging your film. I actually was speaking with Greg yesterday. I'm like, what the fuck is going on over there? Are you am I mischaracterizing this? Can you say that? Are you devastated that your film isn't being? I still haven't seen anything. I could go over to the CrossFit Games site, and I think there's one post, Mariah. Let me see.
If I had the reins, I would have done things a lot differently.
Do they not see the value? Do they? Yeah. So here it is. Look it. This is the CrossFit Games Instagram. Shouldn't there be like a 9-picture post there? You know what I mean? Where they do 9 posts and it makes just one image of the games coming out. Like, shouldn't that be on there today?
I mean, I would love that.
but not even for you. I'm talking about at the end of the day for the affiliates. So what happens is this goes #1 on iTunes, and then all the people who don't want to buy it on iTunes. For people who don't know, I know Mariah knows this. I'm not preaching to Mariah. Mariah knows this.
Right.
It goes #1 on iTunes, and then you release it on Netflix, and because it went #1 on iTunes and people don't want to buy it on iTunes, then it goes #1 on Netflix, and then when it goes #1 on Netflix, people start going into the affiliates because they
Right.
start saying, "Oh shit, I'd never heard of this stuff." I mean, we've seen it
Mhm.
happen over and over. It's
Yeah.
not. I'm not. This isn't rocket science.
Right.
It's free.
Um,
It's free for them, right? Instagram doesn't charge CrossFit to post something. It's just like for us. It's free, right?
Yeah, it's and I'm pretty sure it's the only revenue generating piece of media that comes out of CrossFit. I don't.
Are you involved? Let me be gentler. Are you
Okay.
involved with the promotion of this film?
I created a shit ton of assets.
Okay, can you tell me where they are so I could go see them?
I
I mean, there's one way back. There's one way. There's one way back here. There's this one.
Hey, how dope is that poster art though?
It's crazy.
You want to know the story behind that?
Yeah, please tell me. Good change of subject, by the way. Great change of subject. This guy who makes this stuff, if it's who I think it is a legend.
Well, it gets cooler.
Yeah.
His daughter, I commissioned his, I believe she's 16, his 16-year-old daughter to make that for us.
Crazy.
She did all of that by hand, all of it, even like the texture on it. Everything she did, she drew by hand.
Really?
Yeah, it's Diaz's
Those are
daughter.
drawings of Tia, and that's not like some just Photoshop filter?
No, Diaz was telling me the other day that he had to go into like her project because she like does it on the tablet. I don't know how it works. But he had to go into her project to add the logo and stuff. And he was just, I guess he hadn't thought about it, but when he went in there, he went to like maybe move some texture around and he realized he couldn't because it was actually all hand drawn in place. It wasn't just like stamps or whatever.
Just to tell you how old school this guy is, this was a guy who had a senior position over at the UFC. I think he maybe was even their art director. He lost, I want to say, nearly 100 pounds. And because he lost that weight, he applied for a job at CrossFit HQ.
Mm-hmm.
And he is watching him work is crazy, right? If you're in the room with him and you ask him for something and he'll whip something up right in front of you.
Yeah, it's CrossFit's very lucky to have that talent still.
Crazy lucky.
Yeah. But that he came on back in the day when we were all there because we just fucking loved it. We wanted to work there so bad.
Yeah, nuts. Okay, so there's this poster.
Mm-hmm.
What's that mean? What's Latman's? What's Latman? Latman.
LATAM.
Yeah, what is that?
Latin American.
Oh. As opposed to other kinds of Spanish?
Yeah, I don't.
What are you? What are you?
Mexican.
Yeah.
But I'm the generation of Mexican where my grandmother didn't teach my mother Spanish because she thought it was better if my mom didn't speak Spanish. Just because of how she was treated. My grandma was treated for speaking Spanish.
Both your parents? Both your parents are
just
Mexican?
Just my mom.
What's your dad?
White.
You look Native American, right?
My mom looks Native, yeah.
Yeah. You look like a portrait. You're very cool looking. You like the way you look?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
It's fine.
I'm not gonna change it.
Yeah, you look great. You have a very unique look to you. It's cool.
Mm.
Like me, I'm distinguished old guy now. With the
What
man
are you?
bun.
Armenian?
I'm Armenian.
No, you look Armenian.
Thank you. June 30th, it comes out in English and Latin American Spanish. And then July 4th, 6 days later, it comes out in Castilian Spanish, Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and Parisian French. God, I've never seen these. I've never seen it words like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to Canadian French? Fascinating.
I don't know.
Okay. And that's it.
Yeah, they went a different route with distribution this year.
What does that mean? That's a gentle way of saying you don't want to talk about it?
No, things operate really differently now. There's a lot of, I mean, you know how it was back in the old days. We were highly involved in every aspect of things.
Yeah.
And there are some pretty hard, and I'm not an employee of CrossFit either, so I can't, there's a lot of stuff I'm not involved in anyway.
Do you own the movie or did they pay you to make it?
They paid me to make it.
Yeah, what the fuck are they doing? This is an incredible. This is an incredibly, a massively lost opportunity. Can anyone, is anyone in front of an Apple TV right now? Can anyone see if it's #1 on documentaries? I cannot ever remember. Can you ever remember when we worked together that our documentaries didn't sit in the #1 spot on documentaries and top 5 in the world for all movies? We were blasting Marvel movies. Do you remember that? Avengers and the CrossFit doc came out at the same time. And we pushed them down.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have pictures of it somewhere.
The Froning doc, it was like competing. The Froning doc was competing for the #1 spot, not just in documentaries or pre-orders, but in like all movies.
Yeah.
It was competing with Jurassic Park or Jurassic World or whatever one it was.
And I remember a couple years later, it pushed out something Marvel had made. I was like, good, that Marvel sucks.
It's just getting worse too, isn't it?
I felt bad. I think Heber and Mars, though, like Marvel. I felt bad. I'm like, look, your movie's kicking Marvel's ass.
I think it's just Heber.
Heber loves
I don't know
Marvel.
if Mars does. Oh, he loves Marvel.
Hey, is Tia coming back?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's publicly said that.
I know, but you're good friends with her. I want you have some different insights.
Yeah, no, she's planning on coming back next year.
And she'll win?
Probably.
What do you think's happening with these girls? What do you are you surprised to see Mal and Haley drop out? Do you ever sense any of that? You ever been down there on the floor the last couple of years and been like, holy fuck, this pressure is so insane. One of these girls is gonna crack.
No, but I kind of feel the same pressure too in a lot of ways. I feel like the more when I was co-directing with Heber and Mars, I always had a chip on my shoulder because I felt like I had something to prove, right? Like I was given a solo standalone doc. I thought I did a great job. And then I was given another one and then another one. And every single time I felt more and more insecure. And so the more fanfare, the more acknowledgement of your work, there's more pressure. You have to perform as well next time. So
and nowhere to hide, right? You can't be like, well, Heber and Mars, it's just you. You're not on a team anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, the more popular you get, for me at least personally, I don't like being in front of cameras. I don't like people knowing me. I just don't feel comfortable with that. And so, you know, the more that's writing on my name, the more anxious I feel and the more insecure I feel and the more I want to crawl into a hole. So I get that. Like I get that with them. Yeah, exactly.
And they're out there fucking barely clothed, fucking exercising in front of the entire community who every single person knows their name.
I can't imagine the pressure of Mal with Tia being dropping out.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, well, now she's going to win. I can't imagine dealing with that pressure.
Yeah, for sure. I must have said it 1,000 times. I thought when I saw Tia drop out, I thought Mal was going to win for the next 10 years.
Exactly. And so it's like, that would be crippling for me at least. So no, I'm not surprised by it.
Hey, people are going to see something in that documentary about Mal, in your documentary about Mal, that's like, oh shit. Like that interaction that you caught between her and Fraser, I don't want to ruin it for people, but it's lengthy. And it's like, there's something going on there. Like,
what do you mean?
The stuff that people have already alluded to, the fact that like she has a workout problem.
Oh yeah, dude. And
they have no rein. They can't rein her in. Like she basically, they laugh, but she lies to Fraser and others about her injuries or her recovery because she's so addicted. She doesn't want to be told to chill out.
Yeah. So that scene was actually like at least 3 times as long initially. And I was asked to pull the majority of it just because it was, CrossFit didn't want to encourage unsafe habits.
Wait a second. Oh, fuck me.
Did I say too much? I didn't mean that as like a, I didn't mean it as like a bad thing.
Let me guess this. Let me guess this. The people who asked you to pull have never made a movie, have they?
Mm-mm.
Holy fuck, dude.
I mean, I get it. I think I think it pissed off Greg. It pissed off Greg that there was this idea that CrossFit's not safe, right? And like, there's a desire to not feed into that narrative of CrossFit not being safe, because we all know CrossFit's really fucking safe. And the best thing you can do for yourself is walk into a CrossFit and affiliate. And you don't want to portray an image where if somebody who hasn't done CrossFit watches that and they listen to these stories where it's not being done, potentially not being done safely, that it's going to put a bad taste in their mouth and they're not going to want to walk into an affiliate. So I get it from that stance. I do.
I'm just not buying. Kind of, but I'm just not buying it. Like, so, before type 2 diabetes was around, the number one reason that people had amputations and prosthetics was motorcycles. Like, they kept the prosthetic industry fucking fully booming, right? Before type 2 diabetes. And yet motorcycle sales, it never affected them. It's like, hey, dude, this is what we do. This is a fucking extreme. It's like, you know this as well as I do. Like, when people are like, safety first, you're like, fuck you, safety first. This is the CrossFit Games. Like, we're crowning the fittest. Get your ass out there and run in 100 degrees. But someone might get hurt. Dude, professional sport, motherfucker. It's like, I mean, we're not asking the indie racers not to wear seatbelts, but dude, you got to go fast.
Yeah, I definitely push back on pulling out the meat of the scene. That's for sure. But you also have to pick and choose your battles. Yeah,
totally. How much do you think was so other people were highly involved in the edit? Was it the people who I know? Who is it who I'm thinking in my head?
Editing or giving back feedback?
Asking you to pull stuff out. I mean, there's only a handful of people who work there.
Yeah, no, it's probably not who you're thinking. Just because things have changed, especially with how things have changed in the past. There was the whole restructure at the beginning of the year, which was halfway through creating the doc, and so it kind of went from a small handful of people that were giving input to they're no longer giving input. Now a whole new group of people is giving input.
And it was during the middle of the making of this, they had a restructure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we started with a couple. There were a couple of people that were how to say. Then there was the restructure. Those people no longer had to say, and then there was a new group of people that had to say.
This interview's gotten sideways. They fired Leif Edmondson.
Yeah.
And you know him very well, right?
Yeah. I love Leif.
Yeah, and you worked very, very closely with him. I'm sure you've had a lot of good times with him and a lot of fights with him. But does that blow you? But and same with me. But I can't ever he would be one of the last people I would fire. My take on it is like, hey, if you have a problem with Leif, you should probably find someone else to lead him. It's like having someone who doesn't know how to ride a bike and then throwing the bike away. It's like, no, either learn how to ride a bike or find someone who does know how to ride a bike, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that way about him? Like, that's how valuable I think he is. Like, that dude can't be replaced.
Yeah, there's a
I'd fire me before I fired him.
There's a handful of people that
it's more than he's good.
It's Tyson and I were talking about it last night, and it's like one of the main things that we want to see back at CrossFit HQ is the culture. And so it's like, yes, Leif was really, really good at his job, but he was also kind of that gatekeeper with the culture,
crazy gatekeeper of the culture, right?
Yeah, and so that's really hard to see go.
Dan Straub, they did fire Sevi before they fired him. Okay, thanks. Okay, fine. Fuck you, Dan. Okay.
How long ago? What year were you going?
I don't remember exactly, but I just remember that it was COVID had already started and they were getting some sort of funding, and that they couldn't fire people and still get that funding. And so they waited till the day the funding was done, and then they fired me and my wife in the same day.
Hey, I know how that is, though.
Yeah.
Tyson and I got let go on the same day, and I was pregnant with twins.
Oh, man. Did I fire you?
It was the day. No, you had already been. You didn't have that power anymore.
I had already been fucking castrated.
Yeah, but it was the day that we found out. We knew we were pregnant. We kept it to ourselves. We knew I was pregnant. We kept it to ourselves. We had scheduled, and you remember at this time, it was like, like people were like, if you got an email from HR, you knew you were fucked, right?
Yeah,
If you got
yeah.
an email from HR saying you had a mandatory meeting, you knew you were fucked. You were done. It was, so we found out I was pregnant in like mid-January. I scheduled my 8-week, like the 8-week ultrasound, for like on Tyson's birthday. And then the day before that, we got the email saying we were both getting let go.
I don't think I went to bat for you, but I was pulled aside by 2 executives in the company saying that if I pushed too much harder to keep Tyson after they fired him, because I went straight to Greg, like basically to his house, and begged him to hire Tyson back. They said that I would be fired next. They're like, hey, dude, you better stop.
You know, things were changing though. I understood the decision. It was hard,
and it worked out great for Tyson.
Oh yeah, I mean, at the time we were. It was really hard and it was really scary, but we were like, man, we're gonna.
Had you just bought a house too, Mariah?
No.
Oh.
We were living in Santa Cruz, and so when it happened, again, it was really painful, but Greg was taking it in the company in a different direction, and so it was like, okay, like we understood but it was hard, but we understood the decision. So there wasn't any like hard feelings or anything like that. It was just okay. You know, we still believe in Greg. We believe in CrossFit. We want what's best for the company, and so we just, you know, we were proud. We walked away really proud of what we had contributed, and we walked away still really grateful to Greg.
God, I wish I could. I was not that. I was so angry at the CEO at that time.
I mean, but it was different for us because
angry.
Greg was still at the helm, and so we were. So literally, like a couple days after we got
really
let go,
no, he wasn't at the helm when you well, he was at the helm. I mean, he owned the company, but he wasn't the CEO.
Yeah.
When you were let go.
Yeah, but it was still Greg's company.
Right.
And so it was like within a few days, it was like, again, like there was still work that had to be done. And they, you know, I don't remember who it was. Somebody was like, hey, can we still contract you to do this? And I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like whatever. And not just for the money, but it was because I still believed in CrossFit and I still believed in Greg's message, and the company just wasn't at a point anymore where I guess my employment made sense anymore. And I was okay with that. Again, it was hard, but it was like, okay. But like I still wanted CrossFit to win.
I bet Sevi was an HR nightmare. When I left,
was there HR back then?
When I left the company, when I was fired, a bit after I was fired, I was told that there was a file on me, and in there was a note that I had called the HR lady a cunt.
Did you?
I was totally capable of that. I was fully capable of that. I don't remember doing that, but it was the most inappropriate HR. She was the most inappropriate woman in the entire company, which was crazy. When she would hug me, she would push her pelvis up against me. And she would leave notes on my desk. She would come into the office and leave notes on my desk that I'm like, I came to see you today. Where are you, dick nose? Or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so once you push your, like, no one, there was one other girl there. She didn't push her pelvis on me, but when she would hug you, she was capable of anything. She'd run, you know who that is? I don't want to say her name. She was great. Blonde haired girl, really sweet, but she'd jump up on you and fucking like attack you. If you were a man or a woman, she'd molest you.
Oh yeah.
And, which I really liked her, but it was weird that the HR lady would hug you and push her pelvis against you.
No, I never experienced that.
It was inappropriate. It was inappropriate hugging for most people.
It was a very different time back then. Everything went. It went, which made it awesome.
Yeah, it did make it awesome.
It was so fucking fun.
Clip that, Mariah Moore. Everything went. It was an awesome time.
It was, wasn't it? I got to date my boss.
Dude, it was awesome.
Nobody bat an eye. Granted, we kept it secret for many years.
The footage is absolutely incredible. the recap and the story and getting to know the characters, awesome. I mean, obviously it's a movie, but the footage, I would literally watch that for the edit and the footage and the music. Who did the music? The music's fucking crazy. That whole scene, there's some crazy music in there with Ricky Garard. When you go back and do the flashback on Ricky Garard's history, that music in there is nuts.
Yeah, it's good stuff, huh?
Yeah, who did that?
That's I'm not gonna give you my secrets.
Okay, fine. But it's in the credits somewhere if someone wants to know.
No.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Oh wow. Okay, I like it. Ricky montage history music. I'm in my notes here. Wow. The aerial shots for the bike ride. It was the first time in some of the other aerial shots. It was the first time like I kind of got orientation of what was going on, like stuff that I could from watching the live feed. I didn't understand.
Yeah, you want to know who was our drone op last year? Was Marcus Brown.
That's the long hair dude who dated the athlete girl.
They're still together.
What's her name?
Jenny.
Oh, Baugh.
Jenny LaBaugh?
Yeah, LaBaugh.
Yeah.
She was James Newberry before there was James Newberry. She was kind of like the original James Newberry.
What do you mean by that?
Just kind of like just her vibe, kind of granola vibe.
Oh, is it granola?
In Jenny Baugh, you don't see granola. You don't see like
no, I see, no, James. I'm not sure I see granola in James.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Did you know he's vegan?
Still?
I
knew he was.
Yeah, he was on the show like a month ago or something, or 2 months ago.
Huh.
You don't see him as granola. He's got like dreadlocks, and he's.
Oh. I never got that vibe.
Okay.
I believe it, but I never got that vibe. Because he was with Kayla Banfield for a really long time, and Kayla was doing work for CrossFit.
She's not granola.
No, I see. Yeah, I don't get that.
No. Right.
But maybe he's gotten granola since they've broken up. I don't know. But yeah, I knew James before he even qualified for the games.
Oh, look at David. David Weed, vegan and bi.
Yeah, that's pretty granola.
That is not true. I don't know. Maybe it is true.
I don't ask those questions.
You should. Hey, were you up the Capitol event? Where were you during the Capitol event? I had forgotten until I saw the movie really how spent Haley was. Like, what happened to Haley up there? Were you just bitch, pick that bag up and go? I mean, she just got stuck at the finish line.
It was really hard to watch. I don't know. I think she went so damn hard. It was crazy because her and Dukic, they like got stuck on the last fucking step for a really long time. They just kept getting passed and passed and passed. It was crazy. It was really hard to watch.
Dude, she could have spit across the finish line.
Yeah, she was like moving the bag inches at a time.
People are saying it's the greatest event of all time. Obviously, it filmed and presented amazing, and Fuselier brought it home with the crowd. Would you rank it up there, being there, that it was like, holy shit?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best. I think it's up there with like a lot of really fun ones. Yeah.
Eaton Beaver. She used AI for the music.
Do you think we're going to be out of jobs someday with AI? You think AI will start being able to tell stories?
Have you seen the Photoshop where you can just be like, hey, put Mariah Moore riding a donkey on the moon, and it just makes it? You can just type that into Photoshop now?
Yeah, but do you think like, you know how like iPhones can like make little edits now?
Yeah.
Do you think someday AI will be able to make like full stories, like documentaries and movies and stuff? Or do you think we'll be able to keep our jobs? I've thought about this. We're just going to have to up our ante, right?
Dude.
I've thought about this. I'm like, are we going to be out of jobs at some point with AI? I feel like AI is just going to replace artists.
Have you watched Black Mirror episode 1? Do you know that show, Black Mirror?
Mm-hmm. No, I don't. I don't like. What's funny is I'm in media and I hate watching TV.
Yeah, me too.
You don't watch stuff either?
Very rarely, unless it's fighting. I watch UFC, but I watched a couple episodes of Black Mirror maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago when it first came out. My wife watched me, and it fucked me up. I did not enjoy the experience.
I've like reached this point where I don't watch anything. Like if I'm gonna watch something, it's got to be a feel good something. Kind of reality's crazy right now, huh?
Very.
So
have you changed a lot since you've had kids? Your perspective on things?
Oh yeah, much more realistic. Oh yeah.
I was playing this clip the other day of this group of people. Not to get too detailed, I'll leave it kind of vague, but they were saying basically, "We're coming after your children." That was like it was a chant of people, and they were chanting, "We're coming after your children." And I'm thinking to myself, I don't care what you're offering. I don't want you coming after my children. Like before I had kids, I wouldn't have even noticed it. Like, I don't care if you're offering like free haircuts. I don't care if you're offering hamburgers. I don't care if you're offering shampoo. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't want those words coming out of anyone's mouth that they're coming after my children for anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's a bit freaky, huh?
Yeah. Like those are mine.
Yeah. Like even like kids, like television that like commercials are designed to, for kids to, get to influence children. That's even like just to sell stuff. I can even think about that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, that's weird. That's creepy. I don't like that.
Are you going to homeschool? Do you know?
Yeah, but I was homeschooled.
Oh, you were homeschooled.
Yeah, dude. You don't remember making fun of me for it? You and Leaf.
Oh, tell me. Yeah. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's always been the plan for me. And like,
well, I've come a long way too. I went from thinking homeschoolers were fucking weirdos.
Yeah. To
that's
now I homeschool.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So it's been funny to watch Tyson change, because when I first told him, when we were talking about having kids back in 2018, I was like, well, I'm going to want to homeschool. He goes, well, I don't know about that. And I was like, well, I want to homeschool because I was
You're homeschooled. Like, I do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. He's like, are homeschoolers weird? And I was like, hey, think of this family that we know. They're fucking weird, and they're public schoolers. He's like, oh, good point. I'm like, it's just a person thing. It's not a homeschooler thing. Like, we never lacked socialization, which is everybody's number one argument.
I had a friend yesterday who lives in Berkeley. Very, very, very liberal, good friend. We've been talking, I've known him forever, and I've been like beating the drum on him quite a bit in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And his 7-year-old came home. Yes, he called me yesterday in a panic, and his 7-year-old came home, and he's like, holy shit. And he goes, what? He goes, you're right. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, my 7-year-old came home telling me that he's going to marry, and it was like John, his best friend. And I go, yeah, what's the big deal with that? He goes, they told him in school he could. And it's like, dude, like, I probably you more than me, but you and I both definitely have a lot of gay friends. It has nothing to do with the fact of whether someone's gay or straight. It's the fact that I don't want them telling my kids that they can marry. I don't want them talking to my kids about marriage, period, in the school, let alone that they can marry a boy. Like, just don't talk to him. Don't talk to him about fucking marriage, or a girl. Like, they don't need your help.
Right. Yeah. No, that's the cool thing about homeschooling is you get to whatever you see as valuable. I mean, you get to control that. And for me, growing up being homeschooled, it was more of a even to this day, when I talk to my mom, she's like, if nothing else, in regards to homeschooling, she goes, if nothing else, I know that I taught you guys to be critical thinkers.
Yeah, the question when your kid says, can I marry Mariah? You say, whether they say if they want to marry a boy or a girl, the response to them is, well, what is marriage? You ask them a question back. Well, what is marriage? What do you mean?
Right.
It's like the same thing. Is there a God? Well, what is God? Like help your kid fucking think.
Right. Yeah, no, we were
not indoctrinate them.
Right. Yeah, it was really cool. I'm really happy that I was homeschooled for sure. I feel like
you have a bunch of brothers and sisters?
Yeah, a lot. Like a lot. There's I have biologically 7 siblings, and then my parents adopted a little boy.
No shit.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm the second oldest too, so I actually have a little sister that's 100% biologically my sister, and she's 8.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes, I love to tell Tyson, your sister-in-law.
Is she?
Go
Do they live
help
close
with
to
your
you?
sister. Yeah, they're here. That's why we moved down. Is when we found out we were pregnant with the twins. We were like, we need help.
Would she
They're
come
real
over
close
and
to
spend does she come over and spend the night with you? Your 8-year-old
She has,
sister?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, but she comes over and has play dates with my kids.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
And
Yeah,
all
we
those
love
kids
it.
are homeschooled?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Have you started working on the doc for this year already?
No.
Are they doing a doc this year for 2023?
I don't know. All I know is that as of right now, I am not involved in a CrossFit documentary.
For 2023?
Yeah.
Are you going to? Have you been contracted to work? Are you working the games this year?
No.
No shit. Crazy. Listen, people, this is why this is so weird. Not because they're not making anything, but getting people up to speed on having relationships with all these athletes is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And so
it takes
you
years.
have someone like Mariah there, and she can get 10 times the amount of work done as someone who's never worked there before. And Mariah could do anything. She's capable of anything. She can go out there and turn out stuff 5 clips a day for their Instagram. She could shoot a full-length feature. She could shoot an 8K. She could shoot on iPhone. She could do fucking anything for them, and she can walk up to anyone. None of the stuff we're talking about, although we're talking about it so casually, is easy. It's wow. Do you think you could still be scheduled to go? You think you still could be contracted?
I like that they might still approach me about doing something.
Yeah, maybe they don't have their media plan in place for the games yet.
No, I think they do.
Wow, holy shit.
I mean, I don't know. I think that there are a couple other people that are still trying to pitch things, but
I pitched something.
No.
I sent in a proposal. I haven't told anyone that. This is the first time.
What'd you propose?
I don't want to. I'll tell you off the air, but I sent in a proposal. You could guess.
Well, I'll
what
come
it
help
is.
you with it. Yeah, I have a feeling I know. Hire me. I'll come help.
Jonathan Ortega, Mariah. Yeah, but you're Mexican. This is incestuous. Mariah's a fucking workhorse. Seen her at the games working. She's a crazy workhorse, by the way.
What does that have to do with being Mexican?
Crazy. Well, he's Mexican, so of course he has to like you. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Some what's it called, nepotism or something like that, or something. Racism.
I don't know. I always tell Dave, if nothing else, at least we're Mexican together.
Yeah.
At least we have that in common.
Have you talked to Dave since he's been reinstated?
No, that was just like a week ago, wasn't it?
I know, but I could see you like, hola amigo, ¿cómo está? Congratulations.
No, I probably should have. I didn't. Tyson talks to him a lot.
I can run a commercial or something. You could text him right now. How have you, God? There was a 1 year. I could be mischaracterizing this too, but 1 year I gave out bonuses to all the employees in my department.
Yeah.
And Mariah was the first one to send me a text saying thank you. And it was funny because I didn't expect a thank you from anyone, but after you sent that thank you, it made me hate all the other employees. Like, you set the bar in a place where all of a sudden I was like, oh, those ungrateful assholes.
We talked about this on the phone the other day. I feel like if I could go back and like shake myself and be like, you don't fucking know how good it is right now. Like, be more grateful. Like, I wish I could do that, because back then, I mean, I was young and dumb, typical thing. And I was easily influenced by the attitudes of people around me. And I remember like bitching one time to Ian, and yeah, we talked about this. And Ian kind of like looked me dead in the eye. He goes, Mariah, this is a unicorn job. You're not going to get this anywhere else. And that was kind of like an Earth to Mariah moment. And I was like, oh shit, you're right. And like, I didn't, and even like now looking back, and things are so different than what it was back then. Tyson and I talk about it. It's like, we just need to let go of this idea. Like, it's never going to look like it did, no matter what, And so, yeah, I wish I had, the whole I wish somebody told me I was in the good old days. I wish I wish I had been able to like fully grasp that because I miss it, man.
Do you I'll walk into like a Starbucks or I'll walk into just wherever any a shop, and I'll be like, wow, probably 80% of the people here would rather be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can just tell they're just not doing their job. They're just like,
Yeah.
they're not present. They're not like, hey, what's up? How are you? Or like, they're just, and that was the thing about HQ. Like it literally seemed like every single person who worked there wanted to be there. It was such a weird, and we
Right.
took that for granted. I took it for granted too.
Oh yeah. It was so fun being there. We would show up on the weekends.
Yeah. No one had hours.
No.
Everyone
That was
just
another
wanted
thing.
to work. Everyone was just a workaholic. It was all workaholics.
Yeah, that's what Tyson and I were talking about that last night too. We were just like, Tyson was like, yeah, it was so normal for him to be on the phone at 6 a.m. on like a work call, and then that same day be on the phone again at 11 p.m.
Yeah, there were no boundaries.
No, we just wanted to work because we loved what we were doing. We loved being there, and we loved working with everyone that we worked with, and everybody was friends, and it was so fun. We would all stay so late. I remember just staying late and riding fucking circles in the office on skateboards and big wheels.
And everyone there either had their life saved or someone in their family had their life saved. Like, I mean, even Heber was working on a piece how CrossFit had saved his dad's life or something, I remember.
Yeah.
And like, he didn't even have to ask.
Right.
He where's Heber? Oh, he's in Utah filming with his dad. Because his life changed from CrossFit.
Yeah. Yeah, we were all there because we loved it and we believed in it. And we believed in Greg.
Yeah. That is the crazy part too, right? Even people who whether you loved or hated Greg, everyone believed in him.
Yeah.
The vision was coming down the pipe hard.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I look back now and I wish I had known what I know now, because like with the whole like his fight against
chronic disease.
No, not chronic. The sugar.
Oh, right, the sugar battle. Yeah.
Yeah, the sugar. Like I was like, man, I wish I had been a part of that.
Yeah, going into fucking Compton, visiting 13 gyms in the Compton area, talking, preaching to people about. That was all your people.
That's what's crazy is like, I don't remember which book I was reading, but it was like.
Sorry, will you hold on 1 second? Sorry, I'll bring you back. Hi.
Hello. Good morning.
Hi, you have Amazon?
We have a delivery Amazon.
Oh, okay. Can you just leave it by the gate?
Yeah.
I'm just.
Open the gate, please.
Can you just leave it by the gate? Do I have to come out and open the gate?
Oh, yeah, open the gate.
Okay, let me call my wife real quick and I'll have her open the gate. Hold on. Okay, hold on.
What'd you order?
I'm redoing my studio to look kind of like Howard Stern's studio. I got a giant L desk and I'm gonna have a couch and then I'll have a producer's table so I can start like doing live shows, and I think it's a big desk.
Are you gonna like 2 cam it?
4 cameras.
4 cameras?
Yeah.
That's
I'm gonna do
awesome.
4 cameras, big monitor here.
Oh, that'll be cool. You're a big deal now, huh?
I don't know. I mean, I think I am. I'm pretty excited about it. I walk around thinking my shit don't stink. Oh, Nelly, what if my wife doesn't answer?
Well, you're gonna have to. I'll just hang out.
Oh, shoot.
How is Haley? Miss her.
She's great. Yesterday was this message is from your Amazon driver. Oh, they text me too. That is the cool thing about my job. I can
Hello, you reached Haley. Leave a message. Thanks.
like it's just my job. You know what I mean? It's just my podcast. No one can be like Chase can't do this on the CrossFit podcast.
Yeah.
Hi, I'll be arriving your delivery soon. Please secure pets if you have them. Okay. Can you leave outside gate? Wow, you can text with these dudes too. This is crazy. Philip Kelly, this would never happen on Stern. What are you talking about? It wouldn't. You think I was being this guy? Call him and tell him flatly to leave it at the gate. You think I was being too much of a pussy? Like I was like,
Are you asking me?
no. Well, sure, you could answer. I said, can you? Oh, then he says, can you open the gate for me, please? And I said, oh, can you leave it outside the gate? Oh, here we go, please.
Just say no. Say no. I'm working.
I don't want to lie. That guy sounded
You
Mexican.
are working.
Oh, right. Why isn't my wife answering? It's 8:14 a.m. here. Hey, was 7 a.m. too early to do this for you?
No, I have an 8-week-old. We don't sleep.
Oh, okay. You don't have bags under your eyes.
That's good. That's because we started off with twins. So one baby just feels easy.
So you have to. Oh, he responded.
When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
He said, "Copy. Have a nice day." Okay, great, sweet.
You
Thank
too.
you. Okay, so okay. Run film commercial at this time. I mean, that's another thing. I can't even run your trailer because I think they would fucking. I think they would give me a strike. I think
Really?
Yeah, I think there's people there who would go after me, which I kind of can't blame them because I have no love for them.
You know, if there's anything that I've learned in the past few years is that there's space for everyone.
Oh, you're a good dude.
You
You're
know?
a good dude. Yeah.
Like everybody, like even if you don't like their content, there's room and space and value in everything that everyone puts out.
That's good.
And I think that's something that like Tyson taught me because I was pretty like when I was young, I was like, no, there's only room for what we're doing. And he's like, no, actually, that's not true. Everybody brings value.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you too. I agree that there's room and space for everyone. Hey, that was the cool thing. If I want to be completely frank, that was the one thing that I don't think. Greg has that line, I'm the caretaker of a forest, not the architect of a skyscraper. And the cool thing about media when we were growing is like Mariah Moore could tell the story of whoever she was that day of what CrossFit means to her. Heber and Mars could tell it from who they were. I could tell it from who I was. And whether you like their content or not, it didn't matter. It spoke to someone who had the same perspective as them. And that's what was so crazy about the media team is we let people just create whatever the fuck they wanted, muscle manos, and it represented who they spoke to, and they spoke to large audiences. Everyone spoke to large audiences. So whether you were speaking to girls or boys or gay people or jocks or whoever, we had something that spoke to everyone.
Yeah.
And I don't think Greg liked that. He wanted it to be just smart stuff. And I think that I didn't agree with that. I think there was room. Go ahead.
There were the right people in the right positions to make sure that everything was still being done.
Right. Meaning nothing completely stupid would be made. Leaf would put the hammer down on it.
Well, right. But we were also
outside of the methodology.
Yeah.
But I think there was a place for Danny Broflex, whereas Greg did not.
Absolutely.
He hated it. He wanted. I almost got fired for that.
Yeah, but still, you were in the position where you made sure that stuff went up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and I think now it looks different. Back then, there wasn't a lot of outside media. These days, there's a ton of outside media, and whether you like
and no inside media.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
When you worked there, Mariah, there was no one who did anything better than us. We had the best movie. We had the best TV show. We had the best videos. We had the best podcast. We had the best Instagram. Like there was no one who had anything better than us. Now, everything is better outside the fence. There's nothing inside the fence that's better than what's outside the fence.
I hope the doc is still better.
It's outside the fence. It's outside the fence. It's not even made internally anymore, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Right.
I want to embrace it, Shane. That's what I want. That was a line Tia said as she went into the last event. Mm-hmm. It was crazy intense, and I kind of read into it. Like Shane had told her, like, hey, you just have to murder every, like there was something we didn't get to see. Like Shane had already told her, hey, you need to murder every fucking event. Mm-hmm. And this one, she was pushing back, and she's like, hey, I'm not murdering this event. Mm-hmm. Can you give us any insight into that? That's a crazy, powerful moment, right? You know which part I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. At that point, they were on the fence about whether or not she was retiring.
Oh, wow. Oh, let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
Hmm.
So she told. So, by the way, I have no horse in the race. I don't care. She can say she retires tomorrow and come back the next day. I don't give a fuck. It's her life. Who the fuck am I to judge her? I never understood why. Like, people were like, "Hey, that was fucked up to do that to Sean." Who? Like, what? I understand. I think it was Chase who said it. On one hand, I understand that, like, as a announcer, that's like the biggest thing you get to say, right? Tia's retiring. But on the other hand, it's like, so what?
Right.
It's her life. But so can you tell me that story? So what happened there? Did she go into the games thinking it was her last games?
Yeah. It was a high probability.
Okay. How come none of this is in the film? She didn't want it there? Too controversial, or?
Yeah, a little bit.
Did you want it in there?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if there's something that I'm not sure, back in the day when we were making the documentaries, we didn't take input from athletes. We didn't ask them, "Hey, are you okay with this? Are you not okay with this?" I think there's been a lot of things over the years that have created an environment where the athletes are less open to media because of potentially how they were displayed, or they didn't like how something went. And so we have very much Tyson and I have very much made an effort to make sure the athletes feel heard. And so if there's something that's controversial in there, I show it to them, and I give them the opportunity to have input. And if it's something that really doesn't sit well with them, I'll pull it. Like I pulled Roman into the process of this doc, and I ran everything by him. And there's a lot that he wasn't comfortable with talking about. And so out of respect for him, I pulled a lot of stuff about him.
Wow. Is it stuff for back home about him? His back?
Yeah. No, well, just like the climate at the time with like Russian athletes being.
Oh.
Like that kind of stuff. And so
was he bummed his flag wasn't used?
No.
No.
He's awesome. He was just really grateful to be there. So he's like, man, if they don't fly my flag, but they still let me compete, like he was really, really grateful to just even be allowed to compete. Because at the time, other sports were sanctioning Russian athletes. CrossFit wasn't going to do that.
Do the athletes sign some sort of release to have these sorts of things in the documentaries? I think when you agree to go to the games, you sign your fucking rights, your life away.
Yeah, pretty much. At some point, either it's like the open or at the games, they sign something in there stating that we get to do this kind of stuff. But again, like I do my best to. No, she was not pregnant at the time.
Tia was not pregnant at the games, you're saying?
No. Mm-mm.
Do you think that night he boned her and that's when she got pregnant?
Her and I have laughed saying that she and Shane and Tyson and I were very busy the week after the games.
Wow.
Our babies were born 5 days apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like the last day of the games also boning. I think you'd just be fucking fuck. I need to rest.
I think she was most people were at the after party. We were back in the hotel setting up interviews rooms. Like midnight.
So can you tell me what happened? The truth. What happened? The story that we have is that I think that the public has is that Tia said she was going to retire. Either you or someone on your team went and told Sean that. Sean then said it to the crowd, and then on the floor, Kiki Dixon or someone said, "Hey, are you gonna? What's it feel like to have your last, or is this your last event?" And she goes, "I guess that's the question." Meaning, oh shit, the door's still open.
Yeah, I think there was a breakdown in communication between Shane and Tia there. I think Shane asked me to talk to Sean, and I don't think Shane had talked to Tia, and so Tia wasn't aware that Shane had that information delivered to Sean Woodland.
And you can't expect I can't expect Tia or any athlete. I don't think people realize how emotionally run down they are by the end. They're completely zonked. I mean, in a way that's unimaginable. You can't hold anything against Tia or Shane for anything that they said or did in that last day. I don't think.
Yeah.
I give them
No,
tons
I
of
agree.
leeway.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Everybody's all over the place. Everybody's highly emotional. Everybody. It doesn't matter if you've won the games or you're in 40th place. Everybody's super emotional. And maybe not thinking clearly.
Did Shane want her to retire?
I don't know. I think they were both pretty ready. I think they were both feeling pretty ready to enter that next phase of life. And I think that, and I told her this a lot before she was pregnant. She had told me a couple times. She goes, "Well, when I think start having kids, I think I'm gonna put this phase of my life to the side. Like, I think I'll be done. Like, I think I'm just gonna want to focus on being a mom and having kids." And I was like, "Hey, listen, I hear what you're saying, but I think we're pretty similar in the sense that I thought that too. And then as soon as I had the twins, I was like, yeah, I fucking need to go back to work like today. I was like, I need something that's for me, that makes me feel happy as an individual, that is away, like separate from being just a mom." And so I had the exact same mentality of, I'll be done. I'm not going to do this anymore once I start having kids. And then as soon as I got pregnant, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm going to keep doing this. And I was like, I told Tia, I was like, I think you'll be the same way. And yeah, I think she feels the same way now too.
It's crazy to think that it's crazy. I mean, for me, it's crazy to think that she would come back. I mean, shit, I didn't have a baby, but I've seen a bunch of you ladies have babies.
Yeah. Well,
you make the baby and then you feed the baby, all while having to like maintain your I mean, especially for her, that level of fitness.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, she worked out so hard through the whole pregnancy that I'm not surprised that she's coming back as strong as she is already. But I'm still like, damn, girl, nothing in me wants to do that.
What about are you working on anything now?
Not currently. Taking a few months off. Haven't done this in many years.
What about a documentary with her, a comeback documentary with her?
I believe there's one in the works.
Whatever happened? Wasn't there supposed to be a Matt Fraser documentary? What happened to that?
I have no idea. I've asked. I don't know.
Do you know who is making it?
I believe. I think Hebrew Mars. I don't know.
Do you think the window closes for something like that? I mean, sports really are kind of a what have you done for me lately kind of, event.
Yeah. I don't know. I've thought about that, and I kind of think that Matt Fraser has created such a strong legacy that I think if it comes out in 10 years, people are going to want to watch it.
Okay.
I think if somebody made another documentary about Rich Froning, a lot of people would watch it. And he's been, he hasn't been.
This is a good question. I have an answer for this too, but I'm assuming this is for Mariah. I hopped on in the middle, but there's a question I've been dying to ask. Why are these docs constantly treating the event as the subject rather than the athletes?
That, at least for me, that's been a request. That they want the event to be a character.
Here's what I would say too, and we did just touch on this lately. It requires a totally different kind of budget, and it requires more than 3 weeks. So if you wanted it to be the character, by the way, I think this video shows a ton of character stuff. A ton. You will get insights into what makes Fraser tick, what makes Mal tick, what makes Tia tick. You'll see a side of Tia that shit I'd never seen before. You'll get to pass a ton of judgment on whether you want to hang out with Ricky Garrard or not as a human being. If you want to go to the beach with that guy,
a lot of people will want to.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I think Tyson and I talked about that too. We were kind of like,
I fell in love with Ricky.
Yeah, I kind of feel like there's a lot of people. I think by the end of the doc, you're not sure who you're rooting for.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
Yeah, he's a stud.
He's great. Comeback story is great, and kicking someone when they're down is not very. I don't know. If Mariah ever points a camera in your face and asks you about Ricky, don't say anything bad about him. I think it makes you look really bad.
Yeah.
Or anyone. But I think it's money and time also. I personally think that the event should be a character. I thought this one had an incredible balance.
That, and I kind of feel like every year we gotta get criticized for not featuring so-and-so and not featuring so-and-so, right? I think if we pick
Right.
like one or two characters.
Where's
to
Danielle
follow-
Brandon? Where's
Exactly.
Danielle Brandon?
Exactly. I think we would we'd face a lot of criticism if we only focus on a couple athletes, which that's what made like your behind the scenes so great, was that it was multiple parts, and so you had all the space to cover as many athletes as you wanted, and with the time constraints of 90 minutes, I don't think you're capable of doing that with a ton of athletes and then telling the cohesive story of the whole week. So we kind of have to minimize, pick a handful of people and then tell the story of the games.
It could totally, you take for whatever it's worth. I'm not proposing anything. I'm just saying, you take someone like Mariah and I to the games, let us both do our things, shuffle the deck, and you can turn it into a 13-part series on iTunes, and you could sell them for $20 a pop and fucking and murder. So you would have basically, you take the documentary with all its fancy footage and then all the behind the scenes footage, and you just mix the two together into one giant thing, and it would murder.
I've pitched that so many times.
It would absolutely murder.
I would love to do something like that. I think that would be awesome. I think that.
Hey, look, F1 did it and they killed. So many people are doing it now. We were so ahead of our time. It's
it's nuts. I always tell people, I've like your behind the scenes always made me laugh because they were so successful and they were so good, but they drove me fucking crazy because they were always overexposed and out of focus. I was like, but that shit didn't matter because your storytelling was just amazing. The insight that you gave people into what the athletes were going through and what was going through their head, like the fact that like fucking your athlete was framed at the top left corner, and I was like, fuck, just fucking reframe, Sevan. Like, my God, are you not looking at the goddamn?
You're not lying. I wish I could say fuck you. I meant to do it. I didn't. It was fucking chaos.
Because I know you were doing this.
Yes.
You like had the camera here and you were talking to them face to face, but like the content was so good that like it didn't fucking matter that it was out of focus and overexposed. And
do you know what else, too, Mariah? Every year I had a new camera. I always had the latest and greatest shit, and so I never knew how to use it. So my shit was like all on auto or not, and I was a mess.
Yeah, you needed to have someone else hold the camera for you, and you just do all the questioning.
God, that was fucking nuts.
That shit was so good though.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was really good. But if you could combine the two things, it would be insane.
Someone told me the other day, they said, hey, it could never be like that now. The athletes are too guarded. And I'm like, dude, I totally disagree.
Yeah.
If I went behind the scenes, I could fucking melt them like fucking chocolate.
Yeah, I think that I think you're just, I think there's less people in the media. Like that was the thing with like back in the day with Heber, Marzanine, and I. Everybody knew us. Everybody knew who we were. I think most of the people in the media these days, because there's so many people too. Not that that's a bad thing. I think it's great. But it almost feels like there's somebody new back there every year.
I don't I saw a picture on Dalton's Instagram. I didn't recognize anyone. Matter of fact, the only person I don't want to say anything mean, but it looked like it looked like a very incapable crew. Fine, it's mean.
Well, Lillian's on that team, right? And
I didn't see Lillian in the picture, but she's definitely capable.
Oh yeah, you were the one that pulled her into the space.
Instagram. We were Instagram buddies. Me, her, and Brian Friend, Instagram buddies.
Oh yeah, she's fucking fantastic.
She's cool. Have you built a friendship with her?
Oh yeah, I love Lillian. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, I always felt so comfortable. I always felt like I could be myself around her.
Yeah, she's a stud. She's great. But yeah, I don't think athletes are guarded. I just don't think they know. There's not a lot of opportunities to get to know. There's not really long-standing media people anymore.
In the movie, there's a scene you capture where Fraser is giving advice to Medeiros.
Mm-hmm.
and my spidey sense goes off because shouldn't he be? Why Medeiros is the champion and Hopper's his athlete? Like, what was he doing?
I don't know. I didn't think about that.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, I know Medeiros and Fraser have a really good relationship. So,
there is a there's a part in there where you have to beep out what Tia says. I think she says, "I'm ready for a fight. I can't fucking wait."
yeah.
How you've been filming with Tia since her first CrossFit Games, right?
Yeah.
Is that a new side to her? When did that side come out of her? Did she have that side in her early career and she just didn't show it, or did she cultivate that?
Which side? The confidence or the swearing?
Yeah, the confidence. All of it. I'm kind of bundling them up together.
I mean, I think after she definitely I think she's always been pretty confident. I think after her first games when she took second place and caught everyone by surprise, I think she felt like she needed to just prove to everyone and to herself that it wasn't a fluke. And then after that year, I think she had the confidence. And then going into 2016, that's the year she took second again, right? 2016. I think she definitely had the confidence that she knew she was capable of doing it. But she was so new to it. I don't think she knew how to, I think she was more concerned about coming off cocky. And
right.
She didn't want to come across as cocky, but it came across as insecure. I don't think she was ever insecure. I think she was just, didn't know how to, she was still learning how to publicly be confident without coming off as cocky. And unfortunately, it just came across as insecure.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Do you like the side of her, the more vocal and her confident side of her?
I think she has every right to be
that
agree. Way after winning 5 times. I think it would be insane if she didn't just go in thinking, yeah, I'm going to fuck everyone up.
Right. I like that. I like that when that part, you know, she obviously, she's happy that Mal is, she's happy that Mal's testing her. You know, you show that in the documentary, but you never see a chink in her armor. She has no doubt she can win.
Yeah.
June 30th, someone asked, when's the movie coming out? Great question. You would know if someone actually tried to fucking, if the people who paid for the fucking movie actually tried to give it some publicity. But go back and watch. I'm trying to be very nice with Mariah on here, but go back to yesterday's show. Are you, and you'll see my true feelings about the actual publicity around, what's it called? The not publicity, not marketing. Basically, CrossFit Inc.'s done nothing to push this film to the front. It should be everywhere. Like I said in the beginning of the show, they should have been building the hype around this for 30 days. Not because it's good for the film, but because it's good for the affiliates. That's what it comes down to. Andrew Hiller accused your beloved friend, Tia Toomey, of being on steroids. Does that make you hate him?
I think I know that I can look jacked if I work out 1 hour a day, every single day. So I think looking the way they do is kind of a given, knowing they work out like fucking 8 hours straight every single day. But I don't know.
But you don't think she's on steroids?
I don't think so, no.
No.
Not personally.
Yeah, me
spent
neither.
enough time with her.
Me neither.
But I guess I think that if someone had asked me if Ricky was taking something too, I would have said no also. So I don't.
If what? Say that again?
I said, I guess at the time in 2017, if somebody asked me if Ricky was taking anything, I'd probably say, no, I don't think so. So.
Fair enough. Very honest of you. Very documentary filmmaker of you. Wayne Lang, the movie's already out here, Sevan. So it's out. June 30th. It's out.
Not June 30th, is it? 29th.
No, June 29th.
How's it out?
No, I think Wayne, I think it's I think it's for pre-order.
If I'm not wrong, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that Tyson, or I'm not sure who I think it might have been Tyson and Melissa, have given an early look to affiliate owners.
Wayne is in Australia.
Oh, there you go.
Because it's already the 30th there?
It's available in Australia? I don't even know.
All righty. Hey, thank you for coming on. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Great
of course.
talking to you.
Thank you. Do I just
And-
log out or do you just disconnect?
I kick you off.
All right. Well, thanks, Sevan. I appreciate it.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. You're always welcome back on the show if you want to come back on.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Mariah Moore, director of the movie that comes out today in Australia and tomorrow in the United States. CrossFit presents Fittest on Earth Retroactive with a slash between it, like it's two separate words. You guys want to look through Mariah's Instagram account together? It's a pretty cool account. I saw a picture that I took in there. This is a fucking brilliant photo. I'm assuming her husband took this. There she is with the Boz. There's her husband, Tyson Oldroyd. I spent many hours on the phone and hanging out with Tyson. There's Mariah looking like a hippie, a creative, doing her work. Preview for the movie that comes out tomorrow. Beautifully shot. Dude, it's worth seeing just because of the way it's shot. There she's getting married. She loves being hitched to. There's her mom, her grandma. Oh, it's her grandma. She got twins and a baby. Look, she looks Japanese there. God, that boy looks just like Tyson. Look, they got a suffocation hazard warning inside the baby's crib. God, we live in a fucking weird world. Joe Novella, we talked about him quite a bit. What a stud. This guy, I worked at CrossFit with this guy. Guy with the baseball hat on the left. He's a cool dude. God, there's so many cool people who work there. There's Mariah, Tia, and Shane. When I would do the behind the scenes and I would walk up and film with Tia, I would always end up talking to Shane. I didn't talk to Tia. Let me see if I can tell you who's in this picture. There's Torin. There's Eric. That guy right there was helped me do the CrossFit podcast. He was on the CrossFit podcast with me. I don't even recognize those people. Who's that? Is that Carrie Pierce, Kotler? Oh, and here's the so this is the movie she must have made last year. Fittest on Earth Next Gen. You know, people always say that about the movie. They're like, oh, it's just like last year's. Well, I didn't fucking watch last year's, and I loved this year's. I thought it was awesome. Oh, I used to do a bunch of motorcycle riding with Tyson, too. I fucking forgot about that. I actually have one of Tyson. Tyson, I have one of your helmets at my house. Here's the picture I took of her and Greg. Probably took that with a Leica. I used to be quite the photographer. Oh, they got chickens? Dick Butter just got here 5 minutes ago, but the chick looked bored as fuck. Hey, I'll be nice to Mariah. That's how she always looks. I won't be nice to her. That's how she always looks. That was her excited, dude. I can remember walking into the gym and she'd be there and it would just be her in there. And like, she couldn't even be bothered to lift her head up and say hi. I'd have to be like, hey, Mariah. She'd be like, hi. There were a handful of those there who worked there. God damn. There was this other dude there, Kerry Hare, who used to be like that. It was like, fuck, dude. We've worked together. There was a whole handful of people. There were fucking. Do you want me to tell you all the names of the people there who used to be like that? There were like 5 or 6 of them. It was like, dude, what happened to you? Who did what to you that made it so you can't even lift your head up and acknowledge someone? Sevan, do you think that whoever doesn't like you at CrossFit are just digging their heels in more when you or anyone affiliated with the podcast calls out the lack of exposure of the film? Yeah. No one in the media company, no one in the media department, this is a hyperbole, is exaggeration, but 90% of the, now it's accurate, 90% of the efforts are people put there are politics and trying to keep their job and not on actually creating content. It is so bad there. It is so bad there. I can't even, The way it used to work is that guy Tyson Oldroyd that I showed you, the bald guy who's married to Mariah, he was basically the coordinating producer. So everything that all the video content, pretty much all the video content that was there, he outsourced. So I might say to Tyson, hey dude, there's a guy who lost 50 pounds and he did it through CrossFit, and he also works on a game reserve in Africa. Can we offer him a free L1 and do a video on him showing how, and then it culminates with ending with him taking his L1? And Tyson would be like, okay, I'm on it. So Tyson would contact that dude. He'd get the guy the free L1. He'd start coordinating that shoot, and he'd call someone like Torrin or Mariah, and he'd be like, okay, this is your project. This is what we'd like. And then they were kind of free to do whatever they wanted. They would fly out there and get to know the guy, and then he would go to an L1. They would film that, and then they would tie the whole thing up. So we would share his whole life and then also use it as a promotional piece for the L1. It was awesome. And half the time, the pieces did not go the way we wanted, which was still fine. They were still fucking amazing, sometimes even better. Mike Kozlob did the one on Athena Perez. And so we were just constantly doing those, and that's how we work. Now and half those people worked in-house that we would send out on, and the other half, let's say, didn't. I don't know what the exact ratio is. And then also the other portion was we would always be sending people to seminars. So we would send someone to a level 1 or a level 2, and they would film it all, and they would talk to the people there and film the instructional content, but then also ask why people were there. And it was all natural. And then you would publish those periodically throughout the weeks. So one day you would have like some 70-year-old woman taking her L2, and she'd tell you why it was so great. Then the next day it's like teaching you how to do a pistol. And then the next day it's a vignette of some 400-pound guy. I didn't see you in the 2023 document. Oh, I didn't see. Oh, you're in the 2023 documentary. Hey, I saw a CEO shirt in the 2022 documentary. I forgot to tell her that at the Capitol event. Pretty good, pretty clear shot. My wife saw it. And now they have no one there who understands any of this. Getting back to what I'm saying, they have no one there who you have to. I know I'm beating a dead horse because you saw this yesterday. But they will have no greater opportunity this year. Not even the games broadcast will have the reach that the documentary has the potential. Listen to this very carefully. There are 25 million to 50 million subscribers to Apple TV. There are over 700 million Apple TV units dispersed throughout the world. I'm just talking about Apple TV. I'm not talking about Amazon, Roku, Netflix, any of that. If they would have promoted this, it would sit in the ranking of the number 1 spot on 700 million devices worldwide. Oh, you're making me just fucking hate them by having to answer that question. It makes me just, I just feel like I should call Dawn and be like, fire everyone over there. Who the fuck is their chief marketing officer? Everyone in marketing should be just fired. I'm dumbfounded. I'm not exaggerating when I say I think someone there hates her or hates CrossFit or wants it to fail. It's not like an exaggeration. I'm not trying to be mean. I want to fucking, there's not one part of me that wants to enjoy Tommy's work. Tommy's fucking brilliant in the movie. I will tell you the truth, you guys, to the best of my ability. It does nothing in the CrossFit media space makes any sense other than someone there hate. It's beyond incompetence. Even incompetence, they would at least have shown the trail. They would have at least done something. By the way, tomorrow we have the CrossFit Games update show. Tomorrow evening. And I'm going to show you a couple clips from Nicole Carroll being interviewed by Craig Howard over on the PRs All Day, episode 39, PRs All Day podcast. If you're a CrossFit aficionado, you should watch that podcast. It takes a little while to get going. I had to watch it at like 1.5 speed, but after like 25 minutes, it's like Nicole's dropping bombs in there. Andrew Hiller, Sevan, the media has no power because they have had no consistency. Dude. I will also be talking about Andrew Hiller. It's one of the topics on the CrossFit update show that will be on Friday. It is crazy. I was sitting here thinking last night, it's crazy how he's elbowed his way into this space. Just think about that. Think about what Andrew Hiller has done. And it's through that one word right there, consistency. That's why the magic of CrossFit was such a failure. Because there's no consistency. He nailed it. He made a video. So you know what someone told me yesterday? A big time media guy. Guy's been in the media space for 15 years, grinding. He goes, hey, well, I don't want to take anything away from Andrew, but it's like, I mean, clearly he has help. I'm like, he has no help. They're like, what do you mean? He edits his own videos? I'm like, dude. He's like, are you kidding me? And we were talking, like, yeah, I know, dude. I'm telling you. Because I was telling this guy, like, I cannot believe he elbows. How did Andrew elbow his way into this space? He's not fucking me. I don't mean like he's not fucking me, like he's not sticking his cock in me. I mean, like, he's not me. As the media director, I got Greg helping me. I'm leaning on Dave. I'm pulling all my resources. I have Rich coming on the show. How the fuck did this guy elbow his way into the space? Yeah, he's juiced up. That's fair. No, he's not fucking me. I misspoke. That was a mischaracterization. Andrew was at my house for a week, and he's the greatest guest ever because he never wore a shirt at my house, by the way. And I don't mind him being naked in my house, like walking out into the kitchen in his underwear with my wife being there, but he's so jacked and my kids can't keep their hands off of him. And that part kind of like they just want to touch his chest and his nipples and they want to feel his veins. And I'm like, come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, there's no consistency. How there was in the era that I was media director, there's no way Andrew would have been able to elbow his way in like that. There's no fucking way. We were too loud. He elbowed his way. Actually, I don't know if that's true, but it would have been a war. He elbowed his way in here, and now he's the guy. He's at the table with Jesus. He's one of the apostles now. He kicked John out, or Paul, or Mark. He pushed one of those guys out. Maybe he pushed Judah out. He's sitting at the table, fucking making a racket. Maybe he's even Jesus. Fuck. Blasphemy, Sevan. I was not naked. One time I was shaving with my shirt off, and Andrew came in with his camera. I thought, oh God, he's going to see what I'm a fucking marshmallow. John Young's not at the table. John Young's not at a table. He's the fucking server. Everyone's a server. No one even gets a seat at the table. Don't get me wrong. John Young's a great server. Andrew Hiller how did he do it? I guess he just told us consistency. Was he naked when he rubbed your elbow down with oil? I'm not naked, but barely clothed. Maybe one piece of apparel on. You don't even know. It's kinkier than that. We were on my skate. It was on this big, huge skateboard ramp, looking into my killer fucking little personal gym in my garage. The sun was on us, and we were both sweating balls. Hey, they could have asked Andrew to fucking promote the film for them. Eric Weiss, Sevan and Hiller contentious relationship at first. I remember the first time Hiller was on the show. The rest is history. Not contentious. I appreciate the. I'm not trying to fight with you, Eric, but not contentious. Just he had to be hazed. Someone had to haze him. You can't. He had to be stress tested a little bit. Is he going to know how to play nicely in the sandbox? Everyone has to be hazed. Some people are still trying to haze him. They better fucking watch out. You better not haze him anymore. He's fucking in there. He's at the table. Whisper something into Jesus' ear and get you all fucked up. Hi, Rosie. What's up, girl? My buddy Rosie View Photography will be taking pictures at the games exclusively for Clydesdale Media. Yeah, thank you. Sevy gave him shit, had to test him out. Yeah, you got to test him out. There is a synergy between all the dudes, right? And like you can get in on the synergy or not, and you can figure out how to play nicely in the sandbox or not. There's a synergy in the and if you over haze someone, you won't have synergy with them. It's just a gentle hazing back and forth. But there's a group. There's a handful, a little more than a dozen of people in the space, and they're the informal outside media. There's even some inside media, I would say, in the group. And it's the CrossFit media Illuminati, and yeah, like it's there's no rules. But if you fuck up, you'll know, because all of a sudden you'll show up to the meeting and no one will be there. The meeting will have moved. And it's just civil, and it's funny, and it's courtship. I'll tell you just two people who are in it, Hiller and Pedro from Coffee Pods and Wads. Not that it's a secret who's in it. It's not. But it's our little group of like, hey, if you find out that, like, I don't know, the documentary won't be coming out tomorrow, you might share it with that group in there. You find out stuff. You find out what one of the workouts are at the games. You might share it in there, or you might allude to help point people in the right direction to where they can also find it out. You pat other people on the back. You help support the other people's content. Oh, shit. It looks like we're going to get John Hackelman on. I'm pretty excited. Oh, great. Oh, great. Hiller just sent me the video of me in the bathroom shaving. Do not do stuff like that. Do you guys ever think I freeze because I stopped talking for so long? Oh, shit. I'm just, where is it? Johnny, it's actually, not, I'm just trying to make it sound more fun than it is. It's actually, I'm just trying to, pretend like I'm cool. It's really nothing. Dang, I thought it froze. No, I was just texting. Yeah, Hackelman from the pit. Crazy, right? Yeah. Looks like we're gonna get Hackelman on. Dude, crazy. Johnny, when I first started CrossFit, there would be, when the seminars were 3 days, they would have, or maybe it was even on the 2-day ones, in the mornings at 7 a.m. One of the ones I went to, John Hackelman, came in and taught a class for like an hour or 2 hours. It was crazy. And he brought Glover Teixeira with him. Yeah, it was nuts. And we didn't even know who Glover was. And I think this is true. Allison would have to respond to this. I think Allison and I went to San Luis Obispo to the pit. This is Allison NYC from the comments. And I want to say that she did Grace against Glover. And I want to say it's somewhere on the internet. And Glover did it with a bar that didn't spin with steel plates. Like the biggest plate was like this big. So he had to pull it off the ground. And it was the fastest Grace in the world at the time. It was just like over a minute. And he wasn't even a CrossFitter per se. Like, it was nuts. I want to say she was there for that. It's really fuzzy. Yeah, reverse curl Grace, yeah. Hackelman and Tony Blauer buddies, yeah. I also can remember being around both of them at the same time. They're both very funny. John Hackelman is really funny, and so is Tony Blauer. They're very quirky. Hackelman is very quirky. Yeah, I think it was Allison versus Glover. He did 135. She did 95 probably. I don't know if she was strong as shit. She's probably one of the better, during her heyday, she's probably one of the better CrossFit female athletes in the world. You guys should see that movie, by the way. I think you'll like it. I mean, Hiller has seen it. We have differing opinions on it. Andrew will be on the CrossFit Games update show tomorrow. He gave Mariah some feedback. The shit he told me his feedback too. It's kind of brilliant feedback. Holy shit, is this true? When are you getting Ed Dowd on? He's RFK's treasurer now. You know who I do have scheduled on the schedule? I have this guy, Christian. That's a great question. I have this guy, Jake Cooey, scheduled, who I think has a senior position at RFK's, maybe even the head of it, Children's Fund. Crazy, right? Hey, dude, how smart would it be for whoever the fuck becomes president to put Greg on the fucking, in the cabinet? Greg Glassman in the cabinet. He was on London Reels podcast, and it's amazing. Ed Dowd. Yeah, I would love to have him on. For those of you who don't know who Ed Dowd is, I have his book here. Greg actually gave me this book. Greg bought like 50 copies and handed them out. It's called Causes Unknown, the Epidemic of Sudden Deaths in 2021 and 2022. And you can open this book, and it's categorized of people who've died suddenly in the last few years. And you don't even have to take his word for it. They have QR codes. So you can go to and check the guy's source. It's pretty crazy. I don't even know how I'd get him on. You know who his contacts with all those fucking people like that is? Emily Kaplan, that lady I had on. She knows everybody. I am not a networker. I do not enjoy networking. I do not want to know a lot of people. That's the one downfall I have. Just the only one. Shortcoming. Only shortcoming I have. That and I'm short. 4 days of California peptides. Boom. 4 days. Right there. Look, no needle marks. BPC 157. That's the one I'm taking. 4 days. She's hot, of course. Oh, who, Emily? Yeah, hot, fit, smart, aggressive. All those things. That she is. She's probably on top a lot. Which is cool, right? Pool boy, you like a girl who's on top a lot? Oh, shit. No, I'm not on the juice. Devesh, I am not on the juice. Stop. I am not on the juice. This is something you inject locally. I can't tell. I mean, the elbow feels okay. Not the elbow, the bicep. It's the bicep. The bicep feels okay, but I don't notice anything yet. But I'm kind of enjoying it. This new girl I'm dating was on top just before my car got towed. What? You guys were boning and she was on top and you looked out the window and your car was getting towed? So you pushed her off and went down and talked to the tow driver? Like, what kind of fucking story is that? Wow. Emily Kaplan gives me Laura Sanko vibes. Holy shit. Here we go. Laura Sanko. You guys are going to love this for those of you who don't know. Good job, RB. Good job. Pervert. Laura Sanko, incredible commentator for the UFC. I mean, like fucking kind of unbelievable how good she is and how well she knows the game. I say she's one of the best. And there's just this ridiculous body. She just got these huge bolt-ons, hammers. I was DMing with her for a while. I thought she was going to come on the show before she got her commentating, like her big commentating gigs. Now she's just fucking on a terror. I should bug her again. I think she's tough as nails too. I think she got a good jiu-jitsu game, good striking game. Crazy. Arsenko. Now you know Johnny also loves Laura. Who doesn't love Laura? Oh. What is this? Andrew. Hartle, I suppose they supply the water now too. Who supplies it? Why does California Peptide supply? I think you mean doesn't. Why don't they? Okay, here we go. Here's the pool boy sex talk. Here we go. Listen up, everyone. I was parked in San Francisco where she lives. She woke me up for a little slap and tickle at around 7 a.m. Slap and tickle. I assumed my car was safe until 9, but I was wrong. Left her place and my car was gone. Wow. I learned that word hammers from Travis Bajan taught me that word. Tyson's dad. Hammers. That's what you call titties. Hammers. What a set of hammers. Oh, here we go. Vindicate. California Peptides does supply water, not needles. How do you get the needles? All right. That was the first movie I watched, the Retroactive. That's the first movie I've watched. Sat down and actually, I almost watched it straight through. At about an hour and 15 minutes, I stopped and I think I maybe even spoke to Andrew for a minute. And I shot up my peptides. And then I watched the rest of the movie. I can't remember the last time I sat down and watched a movie. Oh, that's not true. I went to the movie theater and I saw the new Spider-Man. Don't even bother. Does California Peptides ship to Canada? That's a good question. Isn't it weird that you can't just order whatever you want on the internet? You should be able to just get anything. Right? I mean, I'm open to being wrong. Shop? Let's go to shop. Oh, I could go to home and I could just ask them on their Q&A, do you ship to Canada? Fill out our only form or contact us by phone at your convenience. Do you ship to Canada? Do you ship to Canada? I'll find out. I could call. I'm going to call Sarah. I'll call Sarah. This will be funny. Sarah. Here we go. Let's ask her.
Please leave your message.
Dude, I got my new gold Vindicate CEO shirts. I should have worn one today. Holy shit, they're nice. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Not much better. Muy. Karina Pace, I'm late. Is my picture better? Muy bueno. Mwah. Fantastico. Sema boobs. She will get back pretty quickly. Oh boy. Oh boy. Getting feedback from this podcast we just did. Oh. It's tomorrow. And you are not on. Should I call Pedro? He's in Europe. Can Pedro talk right now? What time is it there? It's 8 hours ahead. Why the fuck is he awake? He just texted me. How could he possibly be awake? You will be asleep. You will be asleep. He just asked me if he will be on the CrossFit Games podcast tomorrow. No, you can be asleep. You're fucking Irish. Is there a Shut Up and Scribble today? Oh, that's a good question. We'll call them too. Fuck it. Isn't it normally today? That's a great question. Why am I not promoting that show? Who should I'll call Taylor. I almost feel bad calling JR. He has like kids and shit. He's like a real adult. When I talk to JR, I feel like I'm talking to someone who's older than me. Let's see if Taylor answers. Pedro just texted me. I was going to set an alarm and get up. Oh, shit. Now he's threatening me.
Hey.
Okay, fuck it. Call JR. in the name of work. Thanks you guys for this. Is kind of cool because I'm getting in my work today, but with you guys here. It's like I'm working, but I have you guys keeping me company. It's kind of awesome. Appreciate it. You're at Taylor's gym, Chris? That's crazy. I didn't know that. Small world. What's the website for peptides? Look at.
What's up, dude?
Hey, we're live on the air. Are you doing a show today?
Yeah, 2:00.
2 p.m. my time? Pacific Standard Time?
No. 10 your time, or 11 your time, so 2 Eastern.
Okay, so an hour and 46 minutes you'll be live with Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, dude. Bye. J.R. Howell, confirming that there is a show today. How am I supposed to keep eye contact with Seema? I didn't even mean to bump that, but yeah, it's crazy. Those are crazy. You're not supposed to. I was gonna, full this week. I will try you again in 3 weeks. Sorry. I feel bad. Super bad, but a little bad. Supreme Court rules against affirmative action. You mean legalized racism? Upending decades of precedent. Oh my God. I cannot tell you the stuff that some of you guys send me is so disheartening around affirmative action and shit like that. Some of you who have access to like accounting for government agencies or schools or shit like that. Oh, here we go. Hey, I'm live on the air.
What's up?
You have a show today in an hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah, me and JR.
Okay, cool.
I'm listening to The Real Anthony Fauci. Have you read that book?
No, is it good?
Dude, it's crazy. The RFK book. Did you see the interview he did on Decision Desk?
No.
Crushed some reporter.
Hey, is RFK juice to the gills?
I don't know. He's got to be on TRT because he looks like you would look if you had muscle.
Oh, shut your face. Bye. Good luck today on your show. I love you. Bye. Asshole. He said I would look. He said RFK looks how I would look if I had muscle. Oh, gross. I did not see that. Did you see lab-grown meat is approved for retail? Ugh. Katie, you kind of look like my sister. I don't have an issue with him being on TRT. Get juice to the gills. But it's just weird that in the post that RFK does, where it shows him doing push-ups on his Instagram, it says, I will get us back on the track of healthy living without needles and pharma. And it's like, dude, you're clearly on fucking something. Oh, you are Rosie's sister? Is that really true? That's crazy. You look like you could be my sister. He probably has justified also being on TRT for some reason having to do with his voice. I think his vocal cords need to get juiced up. Oh, look at this. This better not be Hiller who wrote this. Oh yeah, it's fuck. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Excuse me. All right, great show, Mariah Moore. We had an up and down. If you ever want to see an interesting podcast, I interviewed her and Hera and Marsden one time on the CrossFit podcast. And I kind of had an up and down relationship with those three. But I could be making it up too in my head. I just always assumed they didn't like me. But it didn't matter to me. I got great work out of them. They were fucking workhorses and they did great shit. But man, the shit that I would hear that they said about me was fucking crazy. Just angry worker bee shit. But fuck, they were all good. Sevan, did you see the Texas professor got fired for teaching X and Y chromosomes as the basis for determining sex? Holy shit. No, that's awesome. Paulina, Paulina, you must have been 12 when that episode came out. That's a good episode of the CF podcast. Yeah, I thought it was good too. It was pretty real, right? Like we kind of got into it a little bit. I think it was a love-hate relationship. I can't imagine anyone just like straight hating me. Like part of you has to be like, well, I know he said that girl's boobs were nice, but he's not a total scumbag. He's right. Her boobs are nice. Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm texting with Pedro. I don't want him to like, oh, good. Can't wait to have you on. Good. So he's going to set his alarm in a couple weeks. And he's going to he's going to he's going to set his alarm because Pedro's in Ireland. So he's going to come on the CrossFit Games podcast in a couple weeks and he's going to set his alarm, he said. I mean, fuck, he's awake now. I could send him a link now and just be like, hey, come on now for a second. Oh, shit. What if he stays on too long? Fuck it. I'm going to send him a link now. Pedro, why are you awake? Do you want to come on now for a second? Having some trauma on the back end happen. Did anyone tell me? Can anyone help me and ask me if, or ask me and tell me if yesterday's show is up yet? Fuck! I wish I could tell you guys what's going on back here. Some fun, juicy shit. You guys would love it. Oh, it's 5:20 p.m. in Ireland. Oh, right. Oh. Okay. Well, fuck. Thank you. Okay. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. Invited Pedro on. He says it's 5:20 p.m. there right now. Why wouldn't he be awake? And he said, I think he'd be fine with me sharing this. I can't come on now. I have to help with the kids, and I can't bring myself to put the idea of me nipping off for a while to my wife. What does that mean, nipping off? That's English talk, nipping off? You can't even say nipping. Isn't nipping a derogatory term for Asians? Nipping? Oh, pinch. Pinch or sharply. Pinch off. So pinching off. All right. I thought nipping was when you sit around and just made fun of Asian people. What were you doing yesterday? Went to Chinatown and was just, nipping. Okay. All right. Thanks. Great show, guys. Oh, here we go. Oh, no, someone else. I'm going to the skate park today. If anyone wants to come see me, you can come see me there. I'll be there with my kids, hanging out. I'll be at one skate park from 10:15 to 12, and then we will take off to another skate park. My kids are getting good. It's fun. It's like really fun watching them now. Tomorrow. Oh, yeah. I should promote tomorrow's shit. Oh no. Okay. So in an hour and 37 minutes, you'll have JR, Howell, and Taylor, two of the best in the biz, talking about whatever the fuck they're going to talk about. They will keep you fully entertained and engaged. It's a short and tight show. They don't fuck around like I do. Tomorrow I have the Fluffy Duck on. That's going to be great. I forget the guy's name. Josh Parrott. And then tomorrow night we have the CrossFit Games update show at 6:30 p.m. And that will be myself, Andrew Hiller, John Young, and Mr. Bill Grundler. And then Saturday morning, I've tried to schedule Greg Glassman to be back on. All right. And then Sunday, a live call-in show. The shows with Gregor should be live call-in shows too. Should open up the phone line, let people just call in. Sevi, my 5-year-old, is doing his first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament in August. Any suggestions? Yeah, take a shitload of deep breaths. It was so fucking stressful for me. And if he doesn't do it, no hard feelings, like just whatever. And don't answer any of his questions. Like my kid had all these questions like, hey, do I have to do it? Will you come with me? I just didn't say anything. I just stayed quiet. Every time he asked me a question, I just held his hand or kissed him on the head. I didn't do any of that shit. I just keep moving towards the target. Do not engage in the discourse. Keep moving towards the target. The first 5 tournaments, my kids were like, I swear to God, I'm not doing it. And then I just stayed quiet, and eventually they did it. One of my kids were 9 tournaments in, and he's still he's done fewer than, even though I've paid the money every time, I would say he's decided against walking out onto the field of battle more times than not. My other 2 kids, after like 5 tournaments, they're just game. They just do it now. It's awesome. It's awesome. Hey, and if you see something you don't like if during the tournament, like someone says to you, like, hey, we didn't have a kid for you to go against. He's going to go against this other kid. Find out how much that kid is, how long he's been doing jiu-jitsu, and how old they are. Do not let your kid, those fucking idiots who run jiu-jitsu tournaments will put your kid in a situation that's not safe. You have to be watching your kid. You will hate yourself if your 5-year-old gets slammed by a fucking 6-year-old and never wants to compete again. You will hate yourself. So just watch your kid. Something like that happened to me. I don't want to talk about it right now, but fuck, man. Just be so vigilant. Do not be like that fucking cuck I showed in the video yesterday. You know, that fucking white guy who's there with his wife and his kid, who's crying because they arrested a man who threatened his family and son with a knife because I don't want that guy to think that I'm a bad white person. It's like, motherfucker, he just fucking threatened your family with a knife. Do not be that guy. That's it. Not that you would, Christian. I'm just saying. Why do you have so much chalk on your back? Why do you have so much chalk on your back? Soon, Flat Earth guy's coming on soon. He had to reschedule. I need to watch his movie. Alex, you Flat Earther? The Hibbler effect, yeah. You just called a bunch of black belts and jiu-jitsu idiots. Yeah, I did. You mean because they're the judges? Yeah, I did. Half those guys out there, yeah, I did. I don't even think Seema Boobs has real boobs. I think she's flat-chested. I'm a full flat earther. She's flat-chested. The earth is flat. All right. Bye-bye.